What up, y'all? This is Conservative Nerd here, Conservative Chad. Today's video, I want to talk. Aubrey Sittersons made some claims that wrestling fans were more progressive than comic book fans because of the women's revolution in wrestling and how, comic book fans have been complaining about, the progressive nature of comics, whereas wrestling fans haven't been complaining about the progressive nature of women's wrestling. So, as a fan of both, and I've been around for a while, I've been a fan of both comics and wrestling since I was a kid. I thought I would, talk about this because, Sitterson said it. Aubrey's a piece of shit, so let's talk about it. First off, it's a big difference, okay? Wrestling, I've often thought that wrestling and comics are in the same realm, okay? They're a niche thing that I kind of feel if you didn't grow up as a kid enjoying it, it's hard to get into it as an adult. Wrestling and comics, both, But here's the thing, wrestling, okay, as a fan of wrestling since I was a young kid, I think I started watching wrestling around 8 or 9, so, you're talking about the 70s, late 70s when I started. There wasn't a lot of women's wrestling, okay? And if there was, it was terrible. It was Moolah just doing the hair whips and some punches, and then, it was a lot of hair whipping, and it wasn't really much wrestling for women's wrestling. I think it was about 84, 85, I had a VHS tape from Japan, death matches, and there was like 2 women's matches on there that just blew my mind, okay? WWE destroyed women's wrestling until like 2013 or 2014. Like, there wasn't, women have been wrestling great in Japan and even in the indies for a long time, man. So, this whole thing about they're finally, and here's another thing, too, Aubrey doesn't want to say, is that Vince doesn't let these people get on the internet and talk trash about stuff and call the fans racist and sexist. So, that helps a lot, because I imagine if Charlotte Flair was on the internet calling everybody racist, sexist pieces of shit, they wouldn't be as popular. So, that helps. That helps, Audrey. And it also, you kind of forget the fact that this has been overdue for 20 years. At least 20 years. Women should have been pushed into WWE. Japan had it in the 80s. Imagine, we didn't get it until, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, when they actually started pushing women's wrestling and letting women go more than 3 or 4 minutes. So, yeah, there's a big freaking difference here. And it wasn't, and on the comic side of this, they get on Twitter and they get on Facebook and they get on everything else and call everybody pieces of shit, which doesn't help their sales. And secondly, they're not doing a very good job with the writing, which nobody, you're not going to watch wrestling and go, wow, man, Charlotte Flair sucked hard, like, she can't wrestle, like you used to do when, like, Kelly was there. Like, yeah. Your whole argument makes no sense because, the WWE doesn't allow their people to talk politics and religion and bash people on Twitter. So, and the fact that they pretty much, ruined women's wrestling for 20 or 30 years. I was watching Shine and Shimmer, in the 2000s, like before when WWE was still doing Kelly and wondering why cheerleader Melissa or Kana, who's aka Asuka, who's a star in the WWE now, should have been there. Where were you, Aubrey? I didn't see you. Like, I've never once seen you post anything about Shimmer, Shine, or any of the great women wrestlers in the indies or in Japan. But I wrote emails to the WWE in 2005 saying, hey, there's some great women wrestlers. Why do you have, Kelly versus Maurice, or whatever his stupid name is? Why don't you sign people like Mischief? Or you want to see a great match? Go to YouTube and watch Mischief versus Awesome Kong. Oh my God, man, this match is amazing. She was Karma in the WWE, big black lady, but and she was awesome calling in TNA and the Indies, but great match, man. Mischief was such a great wrestler that never got her chance, never got to go to WWE, and it's because of bullshit. I mean, doesn't make wrestling fans more progressive. It's just the fact that women can wrestle. Nobody's saying that they can't wrestle. No one ever said that. And the fact that the WWE gave us shit matches for so long is why that no one cares about the women's division, because we're like, oh, it's about freaking time. It's a little different in comics. It's not the same. They're not, oh, well, they don't even bitch. They're not even allowed to bitch about it on Twitter and stuff. So, they can't be woke, which is what kills comics writers, because they act like assholes and they call everybody that doesn't agree with them pieces of shit. And there's a big difference there, Aubrey. So your straw man doesn't make any sense to say that wrestling fans are more progressive, because they're not. I mean, women didn't come in and destroy. The WWE didn't just say, okay, well, we're gonna have Kelly wrestle a 30-minute match against Maurice, and they're gonna, or Melina, or any of the model wrestlers they used to have that sucked so bad. Yeah, I mean, I used to watch this shit and then turn around and watch shit on the indies like Shimmer and stuff, and be like, why aren't they doing this? Like, why don't they just get good wrestlers like Kana or Cheerleader Melissa or Mischief? But no. So Aubrey Sittersons' comment that wrestling fans are more progressive is fucking stupid. Because wrestling fans had been starved for good women's matches for 40 freaking years. And that's why nobody's caring. That's why nobody's complaining about the women's match, because it's about freaking time. It's about freaking time that the WWE actually let women wrestle and not just be bikini matches and panties and bra matches and stupid stuff like that. It's about freaking time. I mean, this whole thing, it's just stupid. Aubrey's an idiot. And he doesn't tell you the truth because he's a liar. It hasn't got nothing to do with we're sexist or we're racist. This is a book of nobody wants to read freaking gender studies theories for $3.99. I mean, nobody does. So, you guys can, that's why. That's the difference. Is nobody's shoving shit down. Vince isn't having Charlotte come out and read gender studies theories. Charlotte Flair start reading gender studies theories to the fans for 10 minutes and telling them they're pieces of crap. That's the big difference here, there, Aubrey, that you don't want to talk about. You just want to spew your straw mans. I've never seen a bigger moron than Aubrey Sitterson in my freaking life. I mean, you got Michelle Perez is dumbass, and there's a ton of dumbasses, but man, I think Aubrey takes the cake for just total tools. Just douchebags. Seemingly morons. But yeah, I mean, there's no wrestling fans are more progressive. It's just the fact that was, anybody could see that women's wrestling was due to be better than it was in the WWE 30 years ago, It's been bad forever until maybe 2014. So to act like, wrestling fans are progressive is no. They were just starved of women's wrestling, well, actual good women's wrestling, when it was going on in freaking Japan in the 80s, okay? That's why you think they're more progressive. They're not. And plus, Vince has rules that their employees can't go on Twitter and bash people. So there's that, too. I think that helps, too, Aubrey. You fucking piece of shit. Sorry about that. You guys are such a piece of shit. There I am stealing DNC's bit. But anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. I just, it's such a straw man, and when you look at it, you're like, wait a sec. Well, the fact that they can't go on Twitter and talk shit is helps, and the fact that wrestling in WWE, at least in the United States, which is what WWE is pretty much the main wrestling in the United States, has been, it's been terrible. And WWE is one of the main reasons why we've been so starved of women's wrestling for 30 or 40 years, because they held it down. So, to act like, because 3 years ago they started letting women wrestle more, yeah, that was due fucking 30 years ago. So don't act like all of a sudden wrestling fans are super progressive, because, that's stupid. you're an idiot. It doesn't, no, it's not the same thing. It's totally different. If anything, the comics companies should be looking at the WWE and going, yeah, we should probably be letting our people talk shit to the fans on Twitter, because that's one of the reasons why they're not in the doghouse like the comic book industry is, because like Vince is smart enough to go, you know, if you let people run around talking shit about politics and religion, you're going to lose fans. And that's exactly what comic book industry has done, and that's why they're losing fans. So, you know, if you want to learn something from the WWE, that's what you should learn, not that the fans are more progressive, because they're not. That's, you know, they're, right there's why, because they can't talk on Twitter and talk crap about people. So, you're an idiot, and, you know, your argument made no sense. And I just kind of wanted to talk about it because I didn't see anybody mentioning Aubrey's strawman on the wrestling, and as a fan of both, I kind of have a little knowledge into the past of pro wrestling and why, like, the fans aren't upset in wrestling, because again, I was a fan of wrestling, and I used to watch good women's wrestling in the 80s. You had to watch it from Japan, and to watch good women's wrestling in the 90s, you know, you pretty much still had to watch Japan. And you know, so yeah, don't act like all of a sudden the WWE is so progressive. No, that was due in the 80s, dude. That was due a long time ago. So yeah, I mean, if you look at WrestleMania 1, Wendy Richter, she was so over and so popular. Why did they let that die down? Because Moolah was a scumbag, and you know, there's, you know, and so many men didn't want the women taking over and losing their spots, and you know, so yeah, this should have been going on forever. We should have had women's wrestling back in '85 at least, and we didn't because of shit. So don't act like wrestling fans are so freaking progressive because we were starved of something. And I don't want to get on a rambling point. That's pretty much my point, is that Aubrey doesn't know what he's talking about, and it's a pretty stupid straw man argument, and I just wanted to burn it down. And yeah, that's it. I'm going to try to get up some more videos, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm trying to, you know, sometimes, you know, I don't have anything to talk about. I'm like, well, I got to write stuff, but I don't know. But this one's just easy because it's pretty easy to take apart Aubrey's stupid straw mans. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. As always, enjoy the comics. Enjoy the wrestling, too. If you like wrestling, we got, what, 2 weeks for, less than 2 weeks till WrestleMania, so that's cool. And you guys have a great day.